Alright, guys, today we are going to be reacting to and to destroy these feminists quote about plastic surgery. Let's jump in.
Okay, my point being is that BBL is to make you rounder and bigger, just like push-up bras are to make you rounder and bigger and more voluptuous, and that is a cosmetic procedure. That is not to make you look more youthful. You could say Botox is to make you look more youthful. You could say skincare, facials are to make you look more youthful, but not necessarily boob jobs or BBLs or push-up bras. They're not to make you look more youthful. You could see a woman. You could see a woman who's 55 years old and has
women's number one response for why it is that they get a boob job is because they feel like their breasts are sagging.
No, it's because they want bigger boobs.
Yeah, I would agree that it's because they want them bigger. Women might wait until.
Hang on. That also happens. I'm giving you the number one answer that I'm looking at here. Is because they want them lifted.
Or just bigger. I had nothing when I got mine done, and I wanted something.
Yeah, I understand, but you guys are young, right? Mm-hmm. It's true that now younger and younger women are having them done. That didn't used to be the case, especially. And even now, it's still in the age bracket of 30s when they're most commonly done. That's the number one answer given.
But isn't that after children when they're just flat?
Yeah, and what would we associate if you after children? What happens with the breasts?
They get saggy
and flat.
That's right. They get it. So right, exactly. So you want them to look more youthful. So you do what?
Put stuff in it.
Yeah, you perk them up, right? That's what the goal of that is. Or at least it seems like that's the case to me. I'm sure that there's women who also have small breasts who want to have larger ones. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that it seems that the number one reason is for the purpose of youthful appearance. At least if we associate perky breasts and not saggy breasts with youth, which I think most people would.
I feel like it just depends on what you're, getting them for. Like, yeah, older people, I agree with Andrew, to make them look less saggy. And then younger people, nowadays, they get it to make them look bigger. So I feel like it goes both ways.
Well, women have always gotten them to look
there you
bigger
go. We
too.
have to be careful. See, these are the arguments that we have to be careful. You see how Andrew is getting to a point, but somehow, some way, somewhere, a person like her has to come into the argument and just bring it back to what egalitarianism. I don't know. It's just both sides. It's just both way. Everyone does the same thing. Like they just want to bring the conversation to a neutrality, especially with the sisterhood. Andrew's making a very good point here, guys, which destroy their current strategy. The thing is that females don't most of the time, guys, in front of a guy or in front of the audience, they will never, ever, mostly ever admit their nature. The reason is, I say it, and I said it multiple times, is because they're gonna be perceived as very bad people. That's the reality, guys. They're gonna be perceived as bad people.
I'm just giving you in the course of answers. If we're looking at the respondents and surveys who say, why did you have this done? I'm just telling you what the number one. I'm not saying that enhancement. And also, by the way, a big one for breast augmentation surgery now is reduction in size. That's a massive thing that's been happening over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So there's that too. I'm just pointing out what the answers are when women are surveyed for why they want to do this.
Most women don't get a reduction because they don't want to look youthful, or it's normally
I'm not talking about the reasons for breast reduction. I'm talking about the reason for breast enhancement.
Yeah, but then you bring up breast reduction as if that's it.
So you're getting triggered.
I'm just trying to tell you the trend. No, I'm just trying to tell you the trend of right now. There's a trend where younger and younger people are getting breast surgery. That's true. Right, but it's good. The trend's going both ways for both enhancement and reduction.
But I was just trying to say that reduction is generally because of health issues or pain that you suffer, your neck, your shoulders, your back. I know, just saying, but and the only women I know that have gotten reductions is because of that reason, is that because they deal with pain from that or issues from it. It's not because they decided they don't like them anymore.
I'm not disputing any of that. It's just not. I'm just trying to explain the trend. That's all. Not trying to give you the reasoning for why they have reductions.
She looks very combative, very masculine.
I haven't looked up all the answers for why they have reductions. I would guess also there's a fear of breast cancer and many other reasons that women would cite for this. But when we're talking about enhancement or why most of them are getting boob jobs, it seems that they want to maintain a youthful appearance, at least from my perspective. And most cosmetic surgery is not designed to make you look older, it's designed to make you look younger. You could say a BBL perhaps isn't, but a BBL seems like it's a fad cosmetic surgery. Not like there's some timeless cosmetic surgeries like a nose job, boob job.
I mean, I could again say I don't think that. I lost my train of thought listening to you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it was your turn. I'm sorry, I was done talking.
It just down the river of thoughts. So.
Okay.
Yeah, yo. I don't know if you guys can see it, but she portrayed a very masculine, aggressive attitude. I don't know why, but she looks like this type of woman that would just basically just go back and forth with you. I think she's looking for that opportunity, but let's see.
Andrew, what do you think would be the kind of, if there was, and I don't think it, even if there is, well, there maybe is, but it's certainly not as prominent or as frequent, what would be the equivalent male cope? Like balding? Like if guys started coping, oh yeah, women,
No, I wear a toupee for my friends.
I was gonna say a hairline.
Yeah, women.
I wear a toupee for my friends.
The less hair I have, the more attractive women. Like, is that the cope? Would that be the cope?
No, it's like the bigger my beer belly, the more attractive women find me.
I don't know if that matches on as close. It could be penis size, like, yeah, women love my 3-incher.
Height, I think height would be it, right? So men get, if a man were to say that they were getting surgery to increase their height, and there are men who do that, it's super dangerous, but they do it. And they were to say, I'm just doing that for my pals. I think we would say that that's...
yeah, that's a good point. That is actually a good point. If a guy get a surgery where he wants to increase his height, okay, and then they ask him, hey, why you did that? Why you did that for? Why do you or did you increase your height? And he says something like, because I love myself, or I did it because of my friends, because I like to feel good. But he will never admit the real reason is to just increase attraction. You see? So that's a good point from Andrew.
That's cope. We would be like, bro, you're not getting your height increased because you're buddies. You're getting your height increased because you want to be more attractive to the opposite sex.
No, I'm not saying that the comparative cope for the whole, like, I wear makeup for myself, I do XYZ for the women. I'm saying the cope about I'm going to be better looking when I'm older. I think the comparative, like, what is the comparative cope
for men
there insofar as women's unwillingness to acknowledge that, typically speaking, they're going to be the most attractive and most desirable by men in their early 20s?
That's actually a really good question. I'm sitting here racking my brain.
Like, I can't think of...
As many men as I've talked to in various panels about these topics, they just kind of cop to it immediately. They're like, yeah, of course, I was a stud when I was 21, and now I'm, 45, and I got a beer gut, and blah blah blah, right? So they seem to just kind of be honest about it. I don't know. I haven't really heard much in the way of maybe some of them cope, but I haven't heard much of it.
Oh, so I guess men, when it comes to like them aging, I don't know if it's like totally similar though, because I think there's differences between.
Oh, I guess I'll have more money. That could be the big one.
Right? I was about to say, I'm sorry.
Like, I'll be able to offset it with money. I'll be able to offset my bad looks with money.
I'm sorry for like interjecting like that, but I was gonna say, I think that's the only option, unfortunately, that's left for men. I literally had a conversation the other day with one of, I was in an Uber, and this dude who had a whole company, had everything and stuff was going down, and he was very openly and honestly admitting to like, yeah, and I know I'm like gonna end up with like nobody by the time I'm like getting older, so I'm just building a foundation for myself. I'm gonna become super rich, and I'm gonna get myself a young girl, give her everything, you know what? So actually, she doesn't leave me.
After having heard you say that, I can't actually say that that's cope. Because it seems like it's the opposite of cope. So he's going, okay, long term, right? I definitely know I'm not going to be more attractive. I definitely know that. So I'm going to have to hedge my bets properly with one thing that I can give to the opposite sex that they'll really like. That sounds like the opposite of delusion.
Practical.
But then
I think he's just recognizing the game and he's being practical. Completely practical. He's saying, okay, this is what we are, and it seems like females tend to just react to these things, so I might just go to these things, right? He's just being practical.
Take advantage of that. That's the problem. And then we end up with girls that feel the entitlement of like, this is why we have so many women that are like, well, yeah, of course I'm supposed to be treated like this and given all of this.
Yeah,
and
I think that
need
some men
anything
can
in
be
return.
taken advantage of, right? But if the entire dating strategy that you have is I'm really ugly, but if I'm rich, I got a shot at good-looking women.
Yeah.
Then basically the goal is to make yourself a gold mine for a gold digger, right? I mean,
Yeah, 'cause
isn't
like
There you go.
Isn't
that's
that
all
basically what you're doing?
Yeah, that's straight up what I told him. I'm like, so you're basically gonna look for a gold digger? And he was like, and they're very like, some dudes I've noticed are like, it's kind of shocking, I guess. Well, to me at least, I'm like, they're like, well, yeah, I'm fine with that as long as.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's taking advantage though. If he's expecting it,
Yeah,
he's like,
he's
Yeah,
okay
I
with
guess
it.
in my
that's
mind,
basically
you know,
what my
it's
options
like
are, you know.
taking it. I guess for somebody who views it conservatively and actually views it as like, damn, bro, like you really gonna just let somebody, like a girl, really just take advantage of you that way, even though he's willingly, like you said, he's letting it. Like, so is it really taking advantage at that point? But I mean,
I think that there's probably a lot of men who have a long-term dating strategy based around the fact that they think that when they're older and have many, many more resources, that they can be much more appealing to the types of women that they want. And I don't even think that they're wrong. So that seems like it's proactive and the opposite of delusion, but rather being proactive so that they can basically stay in the dating market at an older age. I do think that it's a bit delusional, though, to hear 20, 21-year-olds say that they think they'll be just as attractive when they're 45 or more attractive. I think that that's wildly, I think that that's crazy. Granted, there could be some who are. I'm not going to dispute that, but the overwhelming vast majority of women are not going to be more attractive when they're 40 versus 20. That's just insane.
Unless you're into MILF, even if you're into MILF, you don't take them serious. They're just there's a different game to it, right? And the thing is that I think Myron talked about this. Imagine this, guys. If you were receiving messages every day for any platform that you were logging in or making an account, and they're telling you, we're going to give you money, we're going to fly you here, we're going to, all these things, all of these privileges, actually. Protection, you don't have to go to war, all these things. Wouldn't you believe that this is going to last forever? Wouldn't you? Yeah. And even if you think about, let's just compare the 1% of the guys, right? Even the 1% of the guys are not even receiving the same amount of matches as a regular chick, or even the ugliest chick, right? Even him, has to still have to practice some kind of discipline, right? And sometimes he had to shut down his accounts and everything. Sometimes he's not even handling his account because at that point, he needs complete focus. So it's a different type of game because those females want him because he's not giving him the attention that they want. So it's even a different kind of monster, if we want to keep it honest. So I think this is for the first time. I think so. We bombarded females with this amount of excessive attention, guys. And this is the result. They become degenerate. They become ratchet. They become lazy. They become black, I would say, not attractive. I'll tell you, man. I work in corporate America for the last 10 years. And this is something that you will see regularly. Females stop taking care of themselves. They get married, they get 2 kids, start increasing 120, not even 60 pounds. 60 pounds, you can manage it. But some of them, they go above 80 or 100 pounds. They don't take care of themselves. They don't even brush their hair. And you realize why they do that. Why are you putting your relationship in a position where you have a potential infidelity case with your husband just leaving you for a younger woman? But the reason, just bring it back home. Plastic surgery is just to make sure they can compete and get the attraction they need. Remember, the older they get, guys, they lose attention, right, from guys. So they need to compete. How do you think they have to compete? Well, they have to do their breasts. They have to do their butts. They have to do all these things to just keep the attention and show more. They have to show more because they have to compete with who? With the younger ones. So the older they get, the more they have to show. The more they have to show. That's why lady over here is mad, because he is exposing the reality and she gets defensive. And I'm glad that Brian's not saying anything, because this message has to sink in.
I don't think it matters.
I don't know why anybody would ever believe that. Even women don't believe it.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I don't think it matters how healthy you try to stay, too, because, like looking at my mom and grandma, bless our genetics, we all look really young for our ages, My mom looks super good for her age.
Yeah, you do.
My
You
grandma
look
looks
super young. When you said your age, I was like, no way, really?
Yeah. That's the genetics that I have. But even though, if I am healthy at, 10 years from now, that doesn't mean I'm going to look better, compared to myself now, even though I could be healthy.
I think that what happens is, I think you have a good point here. I think what happens is a lot of women hear this. You're not going to be attractive at 45.
Yeah.
Versus you're not going to be as attractive at 45 as when you were 25. But I think they just hear you're not going to be attractive at 45. And it's like, that's not what anybody's saying.
Exactly.
There's tons and tons of 40, 45, 50-year-old women who are highly attractive. It's just the comparison in age to their 25-year-old self. Generally, they're less attractive than that.
Good point, yeah. Boy, us guys, if you keep your game on, you hit that 40, 45, even 50 years old, even if you can stretch it to 55, if you're keeping yourself nice in shape, making sure that you keep some of your muscles, you're on top of your game, guys. You are on top of your game. I'm telling you. So make sure you guys are working on yourself. This is for the long run. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next one.